Night owls' cognitive function superior to early risers, study suggests. Yes, score. Okay, so, and you know me, I'm a night owl. I always have been. My entire life, I've been, even if I have to wake up at 6 in the morning, I'm still up at, 1 or 2 a.m. just because that's just the way it's been. It's the way I've always been, sort of hardwired, more, I don't know, the night shift as it's been known or called or whatever. I don't really know how to quantify it, circadian rhythms and some of the theories, we've talked about this just briefly in the past, but some of the theories are that it is a predisposition to how we sleep and how we function better, because in the old days when you had to have a night watch, there was actually, the early crew that would go to bed and rise early, and then there was the late crew that would stay up and sort of be the night watch for the people sleeping early. So they kind of sleep in two shifts a little bit. So you get the early to bed and early to rise, but then you get the weirdos like us. You get the night owls, rest for the wicked, says Jay, and you're absolutely right. But interestingly, so this back to this actual article here. Research on 26,000 people found those who stay up late scored better on intelligence, reasoning, and memory tests. Ah, yes, you don't say, right? I knew it. I knew it all along. My superpower is my penchant for being a night owl. So here we go, straight from the article. Read a little bit of this. The idea that night owls who don't go to bed until the early hours struggle to get anything done during the day may have to be revised. Yeah, it turns out that staying up late could be good for our brain power, as research suggests that people who identify as night owls could be sharper than those who go to bed early. Research led by academics at Imperial College London studied data from the UK Biobank study on more than, that sounds terrifying, the UK Biobank. Anyway, the UK Biobank study on more than 26,000 people who had completed intelligence, reasoning, reaction time, and memory tests. Then they examined how participants' sleep duration, quality, and chronotype, which determines what time of day we feel most alert and productive, affected our brain performance. They found that those who stay up late and those classified as intermediate had superior cognitive function. I think that needs to be a t-shirt with a Troubled Minds logo. Superior cognitive function. Just not the fact that we talk about wild things, but because we're night owls. Why not, right? Why not? While this continues, while morning larks had the lowest scores. Oh, so you're telling me that Ben Franklin and all his wisdom with the early to bed, early to rise business may have been nonsense. Maybe he was trying to get some sort of a meta advantage by ripping off amazing quotes back in the day. I don't know. But so as we start, this is where we begin. And clearly there's a lot of things that go into this because, we're still trying to figure out things regarding neuroscience, regarding this chronotypes, regarding, again, anthropology style with the, maybe the two different sleep structures or the two different sleep shifts of people watching over, the caves at night so you don't get the saber-toothed tiger sneak in and eat people. Who knows? Who knows if this stuff is real or not? I don't really know because, of course, what is it? Anthropology is probably more storytelling than it is, a science, right? It's kind of like that a little bit. I don't mean to be mean. I love the anthropology stuff, but yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like it's loose hip shot theories on, this stuff we know. Anyway, I'll stop picking on our friends, the anthropologists out there. But so, okay. So the question for you guys tonight as we start is exactly that. Not the anthropologists, but do you think that there is some sort of actual advantage with being able to stay up late? And do you think it is hardwired? Do you think it's actually one of those things that's kind of stuck into us and we can't shake? And so as layers of those questions, I'd like to know, and clearly, this crew is probably, I would guess, predominantly night owls, but I don't really know, of course, going out of the podcast feed. This thing pops at 4 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, so it's 7 a.m. over there Eastern. And so, this thing hits tomorrow morning super early, so maybe a bunch of people listen to this early in the morning. I don't really know. Sound off on the podcast feed. Shout out, guys. We see you out there. Thanks for all the downloads and all the listens. Appreciate that. All the support is fantastic. But so that would be another layer there. Do you tend to listen to this show like first off, in the podcast style, or do you listen to this maybe around lunchtime because you can't take paranormal talk in the morning or whatever, or who knows, right? Or do you wait till nighttime and kind of listen to it when the sun starts to go down? Who knows, right? And that becomes the weird part of just our superior cognitive function, because that should be a t-shirt for sure. But okay, so that not only brings us to the idea of the cognitive, I was going to say impairment, the cognitive superior cognition as part of this thing. So do you believe this at all? Do you feel like this has been a thing in your life? And have you ever changed? Have you ever flip-flopped and turned from a night owl to a morning guy to to a night gal, to this, that, to the other, back and forth. And did you recognize a difference, or were you as adaptable one way or the other? Because I find myself able to do, things in the morning fine, but I'm just not inspired yet. You know what I mean? The kind of that old shaking out the cobwebs feeling sort of comes to me early. So I can do it, but it's just not my cup of tea, as they say. Shout out our friends across the pond. Coffee is the way. But I don't know. So, and then of course, what does this look like in the larger sense? And of course, that's exactly the point of these conversations. But it also got me thinking about the night. Okay. So is there something about the night? And specifically, there's something called the witching hour, which we've all heard about. They've made movies about this, and the midnight madness of whatever the hell's going on with this stuff. Let me read a little bit of this just so we can catch up. And instead of me butchering this, I'll just read it directly from good old the Wikipedia here. Just a top blurb. So in folklore, the witching hour or devil's hour is a time of night that is associated with supernatural events, whereby witches, demons, and ghosts are thought to appear and be at their most powerful. Definitions vary and include the hour immediately after midnight and the time between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. The term now has a widespread colloquial and idiomatic usage that is associated with human physiology and behavior to more superstitious phenomena such as luck. Rather be lucky than good. But okay, so meaning this. So regarding the witching hour and how this fits, do you think there's maybe some magic in this? And back to some ritual magic. So I'm calling this, of course, the Temple of Midnight and a Parliament of Night Owls. And I'll tell you what that means in a little bit. But shout out Temple of the Owl. What's up, Matt's Owl? This one's for you. I couldn't help but giggle and think about you while I was making this show. So great work out there on the podcast, Temple of the Owl, and appreciate you very much, Matt's Owl. Okay, so what do you think? Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Or nah. Or not, or is this misinformation from a founding father, Benjamin Franklin? But it was fascinating to me that the sample size on this particular study was 26,000 people, even though it was from the UK Biobank. Like I said, this sounds terrifying anyway. But 26,000 people is not an insignificant sample size. So when you start to look at this and consider that maybe, just maybe, there is a cognitive positivity to this, then our superpower is we stay up late and we think about weird things. And maybe there's something to it, right? Yeah, I don't know. So that puts us about where we need to be. But what are your thoughts on this? So, of course, and is there a combination of things happening here? Meaning that if you look at the different hours of the night, the witching hour, where they say that, the creatures of the night are at their most powerful, or it's, just after midnight, or you're talking 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. As it said in the Wikipedia there, I've heard different stories. People waking up and seeing, 3:33 or whatever on the clock, or whatever it is, right? All manner of things synchronicity wise, but also the power of the night becomes, which is why I'm calling this tonight, the actual Temple of Midnight, because it seems like maybe there's something to this, maybe a magic element of the night that allows, I don't know, maybe what would you say? Better inspiration, kind of maybe in tune with the cosmos a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe, it's always to me been just the more of the mundane thing of less hustle and bustle, and, kind of people are going to bed, and, there's not a bunch of racket, and, there's no traffic out, and, things really kind of just start to settle down, and you can really, really start to think and really consider things, and that vampire life, right? And so, I don't know, there's a lot of ways to look at it just in normal, normie style, which I'm describing right now, but I think there might be something to this in the larger context, which of course would be this Temple of Midnight. And is there a way for us to maybe develop, a heightened awareness, heightened creativity, as I just said, or be able to maybe interpret signs from the universe a little bit better, because we're supposed to be, or predetermined to be, because all you night owl weirdos out there staying up late with us, thank you for that. Maybe we're predetermined to be this exact type of thing, this the chronotype, as it's called. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? And that puts us where we need to be. Let's get a word from our sponsor, which, of course, is Human Inspiration. So the Temple of Midnight, which, of course, just means the darkness, which means the witching hour, however you want to define that. Again, sometimes right after midnight, sometimes 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. You decide what that means and what that looks like. But it is strange to me that there seems to be this heightened awareness or this heightened creativity. And, it is one of those sort of tropes that creative people typically stay up late for whatever reason, right? They're not super, type A personalities. They're like smashing it first thing in the morning, writing, chapter 10 at 8:30 on their second cup of coffee. Sure, there's those types out there. You can't really make blanket statements about, so many people, because everybody's going to be individuals and do their own thing and be their own thing. But there is that trope where the night owl kind of has an advantage in creativity. And I wonder if it is because of this idea of the witching hour and sort of our, like I said, maybe our space in that, I don't know, the spectral night as the starlight cascades down. It does seem very magical. And it is easier to consider this as well in the summertime because it's nice out. Like out here, if you go out at midnight, it's like 95 degrees still or whatever, then it's going to be in December or something where it's just freezing ass outside. And you're like, oh no, hell no, I'm going to just stay in here. But you get what I mean. It's easier to feel the magic when you're out near the magic, which is outside, of course. But I don't know. And so there's a lot of ways to consider this, of course. But the weird part is to me, like I've always felt this. I've, worked different schedules throughout my life, different jobs, did this, that, the other. And, one of them was I was waking up at the crack of dawn, like 6 a.m. I had to be at work at 6. So you're up at 5 or quarter to 5 and talk about miserable. It's just one of those things, one of those parts of my life that was such this gray blur because I just never could kind of catch up. And I had to work these long shifts. So it was like 6 to 4. And then just by the time you get home, you're exhausted from running around all day. And then, you still don't go to bed. I still wouldn't go to bed. I'd still be up at midnight. It was just why it was like, what are you doing, Mike? Just go to bed for once, right? But no, absolutely not. I'm not going to waste a midnight. I'm not going to miss a midnight tonight. I'm staying up for it, and that is that. But yeah, I don't know. And so I do operate better on sort of, past noon. I'm a past noon sort of guy. I'd rather wake up around 9:30, 10-ish would be great. And then, have a cup of coffee, kind of check the news, see what's going on. I don't know. But yeah, getting up at the crack of dawn to me is just not the best. But I don't know. Like I said, everybody's a little bit different. But do you think we have an advantage in some capacity? Now, there's all kinds of studies and stuff and talking about, the perks and problems of being a night owl, which link's going to be in the description down below. Let's see. I got a list here, right? Circadian rhythms, chronotypes, which we talked a little bit about. Are there more than 2 chronotypes? And this actually comes into, shout out to Matthew in Colorado. He brought up this a while back regarding the chronotypes and sort of us being linked more in tune with Mars than Earth in some capacity. And when astronauts kind of move outside of the atmosphere, their circadian rhythms start syncing to Mars time instead of our time, which seems odd. It seems very, very esoteric, but and these things have been written. These articles have been written for a long time, and they kind of pop up from time to time. 10 hidden benefits of being a night owl. Oh yeah, right. Night owls have more creativity and originality, they say, right? Night owls can go the distance mentally. Sure, whatever that means. Night owls might be smarter. There you go. Cognitive advantage T-shirt or whatever that was. Night owls of a feather flock together. Hey fam, hi, what's up? Night can be a time of quiet solitude and refreshment for some night owls, where for others it is a chance to commune with those with the same circadian rhythm. Many night owls have a habit of communicating with others on the same schedule through internet forums or other groups specifically meant for those that enjoy a later bedtime. Yeah, isn't that weird? Please mute up, Daryl. I'll bump you down. Okay, thank you. Please mute up before you jump up here. Appreciate that. So many night owl communities, even a dating site, exist serving those who work swing shift or simply prefer a later sleep schedule. Night owls have special strength. Look at this one. So are night owls superior in physical strength too? One study from the University of Alberta tested the leg strength of night owls and early birds at different times throughout the day. The study found that the strength of morning people remained stable throughout the day, while night owls showed a burst of strength in the evening. The result of increased motor cortex and spinal cord excitability working together in the evening hours. That's a T-shirt too. What is that? Increased motor cortex and spinal cord excitability working together. Wow. Morning people do not experience the combination of these two variables reaching their height at the same time. The brains of morning people showed a peak in the morning, which slowly faded as the day continued. One study, the co-author of the study, I can't read the name, Ole Lagerquist, I guess, a co-author of the study and a PhD candidate in neurophysiology at the University of Alberta said, quote, "We thought that morning people would be better at this in the morning, but they never changed." There you go. Super strength, super intelligence, super creativity, super powers. You can't stop us. You can only hope to contain us. Night owl parents are ready for around-the-clock duty. For those night owls that become parents, the circadian rhythm just might prove to be a strength they didn't anticipate. Most newborns do not sleep longer than 2 to 4 hours at a time, meaning that their first wakings after bedtime will occur when a night owl is sure to be up and ready to soothe them back to sleep. Yes, indeed. Night owls have better reasoning skills, again, and more and more and more. And like I said, these studies pop up from time to time, and I'm always the first one to go, look, I told you so. To my night owl friends, I'm like, look, I told you. I've been saying this for 10 damn years. We're all smarter. We're all stronger. Yes, improved cognitive efficiency or whatever it is, right? No, I don't know. I mean, it feels that way. It just feels like when the midnight hour is approaching, that my powers are at their height, right? Usually I've had a few beers by then. So it's not the best, because you guys know me. We finish around, 10:30 sometimes. So, it's kind of midnight hour-ish. But I just feel it. It's so strange to me that it's always been that way. And how do you shake it? And can you change? I guess can you change becomes the question. But of course, it's going to take us into, because it's a nice, perfect example of how you put these ideas together when you say the word night owl. And a parliament of night owls, well, is us. It's a group of owls. So back to C.S. Lewis for just a second, and an actual parliament of owls is. Where is it? Right there. One of these ones. Oh my goodness. So many links. There it is. Okay. What is a group of owls called? And the reasons behind it. Yeah, wouldn't you know? Check it out. Scroll down a little bit. Speaking historically, most collective nouns, okay, blah, 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 yada, yada. Don't tell me that. Give me the good stuff. Why is a group of owls called a parliament? That's strange. In the Middle Ages, it was believed that birds gather in groups and flocks to discuss important matters. Owls, seen as symbols of wisdom and intelligence in many cultures, were no exception. The most famous example is that in ancient Greece that they were the symbol of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategy. The metaphor of a parliament of owls is based on the idea that owls, seen as wise and intelligent creatures, gather to deliberate important matters, similarly to human assemblies. As mentioned previously up in this article, the saying itself dates back to the Middle Ages, but likely gained its popularity thanks to C.S. Lewis's book series, The Chronicles of Narnia, where he referred to a group of owls as a parliament. And that is us, my friends. We are a parliament of night owls, sharing our superpowers together in collaboration, not competition, and isn't it divine? And yeah, I was a little surprised when I started digging into this a little bit. I did not know before tonight that a group of owls was called a parliament. Well, but also it's a nice synchronicity that all of us together are a parliament of night owls. Now, what do you know about the midnight hour, or the witching hour? What do you know about these superpowers that I'm hinting at? Do you feel like you were thriving in the middle of the night, or are you the opposite? Or what do you know about these chronotypes and how this fits into the larger context? And of course, we'll get to the weirdness of not just owls themselves in regard to, let's say, UFOs and things like that, because there's a connection there, but also back to mythology and folklore, which is really what we do anyway on this show. So yeah, you aren't surprised to hear me say any of that at all. But a lot of ways to take this. We can talk about the chronotypes. We can talk about the owls and the UFO stuff. We can talk about, pretty much nonlinear, open-ended. Let's take it wherever you like. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. We got Daryl in New York coming up and your calls as well. The Temple of Midnight, a parliament of night owls, and the Troubled Minds fam. Hell yeah. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. More on the way. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight we're taking your calls as we talk about the Temple of Midnight. Of course, I'm talking about the witching hour and how night owls actually seem to gain mystical, magical, and advantageous powers over their brethren, over their morning type, early to bed, early to rise, Benjamin Franklin types, which, like I said, always bothered me. Come on, it's not fair. Just because I don't like to be up at the crack of dawn doesn't make me a lazy bum. Come on, stop it. Stop it. I'm lucky my mom never told me that, but you know what I mean. You get that, you get the eyeballs on you if you want to sleep till 9 o'clock or something. It's like, come on, guys, give me a break here. I was up till 4:30 in the morning. Geez. But what do you guys know about this? The chronotypes we're talking about tonight, of course, the Temple of Midnight, which is the witching hour, and all these bizarre studies that suggest that people that actually stay up into these I don't know, the liminal space at night, the darkness and the sky and the stars, and they just have these superpowers. Again, even strength. I mean, that's one I didn't hear of before we started doing this, and so it's like, come on now, really? Like, so we have heightened creativity, better cognitive ability. We even get stronger at night. What is that? It's like James said, it's like very superhero. A lot of superheroes operate at night. I wonder why? Because they're, well,